Hey guys, welcome to season 1, episode 1 of a brand new series I'm launching on this channel that I am calling Freelance Fridays. So if you've been here before, it's probably to watch one of my unboxing videos. I am a senior stylist for Stitch Fix, and that is one of 3 things that I do as a full-time freelancer who also works from home full-time. Now, I've been working at home since 2004, and for the past 4 years, I've been a full-time freelancer, also working from home, and currently my income is coming from 3 main sources. As I mentioned, I'm a senior stylist for Stitch Fix, and then I'm also an author and a writer for Carnegie Magazine, Pittsburgh Quarterly, and also Table Magazine, in addition to writing for Carnegie Library and the Heinz History Center. I am also the spokesperson for The Waterfront, which is a retail shopping center here in Pittsburgh. And then my YouTube channel just literally monetized about a month ago, and so far I've made $10. So let's talk about why I wanted to do this series in the first place. There is such a huge curiosity, and understandably so, about going full-time freelance, doing freelance work in general, and most certainly working from home. And I think a lot of people are interested in taking that plunge, but they're scared, and it totally makes sense. And usually when you're afraid of something, it's because you simply don't have the information necessary to make a good decision about whether or not something is a good fit for you. So my main goal with this series is to provide you with very honest, real information coming from somebody who's worked from home for a long time and who has done the freelance thing for a long time as well, and to arm you with the information that you need in order to be able to decide if this is something you think is worth pursuing. You know, and again, just talking about the whole honesty factor, we are going to go into the pros and cons of both working from home as well as going the freelance route. And to be honest with you, this is going to be an interesting couple months for me too. There's a strong possibility that change is on the horizon, which means I will be starting basically from scratch all over again. And I gotta be honest with you, even I'm like, do I really want to do this? Just because as a freelancer, you will spend years developing your client base. And if you want to do something like move, sometimes the work that you're doing won't always carry with you to your new residence. That's certainly the position I'm in right now. While I have the luxury of being a full-time freelancer also working from home, I am based here in Pittsburgh, which is where I currently live. And the majority of the work I'm doing, it has ties to Pittsburgh. So it's not like I can just take that work with me wherever I go. Now, in terms of my work history and how I got into the whole freelance remote thing in the first place, I'm going to go into that in much greater detail in a subsequent video, but suffice to say, the last time I sat in an office full-time was 2004. At the time, I was working in New York City, and an opportunity came along for me to be a full-time salaried employee that also had the ability to work remotely, and so I took that job and used it as a way to move back to my hometown of Pittsburgh. And then once that position ended, it just naturally segued into another opportunity that was also full-time salary, work from home, and it led to a subsequent opportunity that was the same deal. And so it wasn't until about 2015 that I decided to make the official jump into full-time freelance work. Now, everybody's different in terms of whether or not they like the idea of working from home or whether it just totally petrifies them. I happen to love it. I've been doing it for so long that I could never, ever, ever envision myself going back into an office. I'm just not designed to be able to sit in a cubicle for 8 to 10 hours a day, although I will sit at my own computer and work for 8 to 10 hours a day. You know, it's different for everybody in terms of people that are attracted to the idea of working from home, and also the type of people that are like, oh my gosh, no way, I could never get anything done. I'm the type of person where I can police myself really, really well in terms of getting my work done. In fact, I'm probably, I tend to skew to the extreme where I need to get better at work-life balance, allowing for more life. But again, that's another topic we're going to talk about during this series. But overall, I just love the freedom and the autonomy and the independence that comes from being both a freelancer and most certainly from working from home. You know, I like setting my own schedule. I like looking at my week and it's like one big puzzle and, you know, changing things around to accommodate things that come in or deadlines that shift. I most certainly love not sitting in traffic twice a day or dealing with toxic offices and toxic coworkers. Home is my happy place. I love being home. It's a very peaceful space. I love hanging out with my little dog. There she is. That's Birdie. I've had her since she was a puppy. She's going to be 16, and the entire time I've had her, I've worked from home, so that certainly is awesome to be able to spend time with her, even if I'm working. But I just love being at home. I find I'm most creative here. I'm not one of those people that is allowed to work from home, but I'm sitting in a coffee shop all day working. Like, that to me totally defeats the purpose. I love just that quiet solitude that comes from being in your own space and working. Now, in terms of weighing the pros and cons that come from both working from home and also as a full-time freelancer, I mean, yeah, of course, there's going to be pros and cons as there are with anything. But I don't really see cons as being something insurmountable. Like, to me, when I hear the word con, it really just means it's a challenge that you have to learn to navigate through. It might be a compromise that you need to make in order to continue working from home or working as a freelancer. And at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, like, the stack of whatever cons there might be are totally minimized by the stack of pros that you get by working from home and also as a freelancer. So we're gonna be covering a lot over the next couple of weeks, namely things like work-life balance, things like taking time off, how do you take a vacation if you're a freelancer, what does a weekend look like, does it always have to be a Saturday, Sunday deal, or is there room to wiggle in like a Monday, Tuesday off situation? We're gonna talk about how to determine your rate, how to get comfortable with negotiating your rates, tips for starting out, how to get new work, how to maintain work. I'm gonna give you guys some tips for how to start out. Maybe if you wanna take some baby steps into this wild and wonderful world, that is certainly a possibility before you take like the full plunge. I'm gonna share with you my daily work habits and also how I make my daily schedule, how I make my weekly schedule, and we are most definitely gonna talk about flexibility, because if you're a full-time freelancer, most likely you are juggling multiple projects, and sometimes things come up and you need to shuffle your schedule around, and we're gonna talk about how to make it workable for you. So in any event, I hope you guys stay tuned. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and most certainly, if you have a question that you wanna address before we get into some of these topics down the line, leave it in the comments below. I'll be sure to address it. Maybe if it comes up often enough, we can create its own video on that specific topic. But in any event, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.